All right, we're back again this week to test some more pens and highlighters to see what I'm keeping for my planner and what maybe needs to go for a different purpose or that I need to get rid of. So this week we're going to test the Mildliners by Zebra and the Pentel EnerGel Clena in a 0.4 tip. One of these I already know I really like, and the other I wanted to revisit because I stopped using it for a few specific reasons. So I'm going to walk through both, share a little background on them, and then show you exactly how they perform in my Hobonichi planner. So first up, we're going to test the Zebra Mildliner. Now, these highlighters are a Japanese stationery company, and it's really known for its softer, more muted tones. They are a water-based highlighter with dual ends, which I really like for my planner. I do the outside lines with the thinner tip, and then I'm able to highlight parts with the highlighter thicker tip end. You'll see here in a little bit that on my Hobonichi paper, which is thin, there is no bleed through with these highlighters, which is really important for me. I don't mind a little ghosting, but I don't want it to bleed through into the other page. So I picked a few different colors for this spread, some lighter, some darker, and this purplish pink color is a heavier color that they have. And I used this one because I wanted to show that you will see some ghosting on the other side, but it doesn't bleed through, even though there are some areas where it collected a little heavier. So again, you can see some ghosting. That is okay with me, but I'm showing you in case you hate ghosting at all that you can see what it does in the planner. Now, I also did a quick smear test. These do pretty good. Now, there are areas where if it pools a little bit more, it does smear a little bit. You'll see a little bit on the other side of my paper. So just be aware of that if you're using a darker color, it may need some dry time. Now let's talk about the Pentel EnerGel Clena. Now this is another Japanese pen. The Pentel's EnerGel line is known for its smooth gel ink, its quick drying performance, and the Clena version has the softer, more classic aesthetic barrel. And this tip I'm using is a 0.4 needle tip. I prefer very thin tips, so that's why originally I wanted to give this one a try. When I first got this pen, I liked it. The line is thin and clean, the grip was comfortable, and the ink flow overall initially was smooth and didn't skip. But there were a few things that made me stop reaching for it over time that I started to notice. First, even though it's marketed as a quick dry, I started to have a lot of issues seeing smearing throughout my pages. Now you will see here as I'm showing, as I'm writing over the highlighter, it did struggle a little bit and I had to go over it twice, which did cause a little bit more ghosting on the other side. But that's very common with a lot of pens if the highlighter is not fully dry, so I don't hold that against this pen. But as I'm using it more and more, you'll see here that the ink builds up on the tip. So over time, a little ink blob can accumulate on the needle tip. When that happens, it creates thicker spots in your lines and sometimes leads to the extra smearing. And I noticed something else during the test. When I used a ruler to draw the lines, which I do often, the ink built up along the edge of the ruler. So then when I moved it down, it dragged some of the ink and caused some smearing, which you'll see right here in the page. So for me, this is a big deal because I use the ruler quite often. So I need a pen that doesn't do that. And this is also potentially user error, but again, I'm looking for something that fits the style that I follow. The other thing this pen was known for, or that made me purchase it originally, is that it's supposed to be quick drying. You'll see here that I do an immediate swipe test and it does smear slightly. It's hard to see in camera, but there is a smear. Then I give it a 5-second dry time. Here, most of it doesn't smear, but the hair, that word did smear. Then I try it again and I give it a little bit longer, and there is still a very slight smear. So all in all, if you give it dry time, that's not an issue. But I personally rewrite over things, I go back to different areas, and so for me, that's a problem. And here I'm showing, it's hard to see on camera, but there is the buildup on the tip, and that causes some pooling in different areas on the paper. But again, you see I gave it a bit more time on this one and the smearing was still present. So overall, the Mildliner remains a favorite for me. I'm going to keep using them. But the EnerGel Clena, it's a good pen, just not for my planner. This will probably become a car pen or a quick kitchen pen, something more as backup that I'm not using on a daily basis or for more precise writing. But if you have had a different experience with these, let me know. Maybe it's just the pen that I got, and I'm certainly open to trying more because I like the needlepoint and I like the way the pen looks overall.